Dagen H, or H-Day, was the day on the 3rd of September 1967 in which the traffic in Sweden switched from driving on the left-hand side of the road to the right. Dagen means day, and the H stands for högertrafik, the Swedish word for right traffic. It was by far the largest logistical event in Sweden's history. The first attempt to order traffic to the right was in 1718, but by 1734 ordinances had stipulated Sweden should drive on the left. This of course didn't matter too much until motor traffic became common, and with Sweden's neighbours Norway and Finland driving on the right, border crossings were a very awkward dance. Sweden was starting to think more globally, and driving on the right would put it in line with many other members of the new common market. The Swedish government had been making noises to change over to the right since 1927, and that had encouraged car manufacturers such as Saab and Volvo to design their cars for right-hand drive roads, but this led to many head-on collisions when passing on narrow two-lane highways. Despite this, the change was unpopular. In a 1955 referendum, 83% voted to keep driving on the left. In a move that wouldn't be the first or the last to ignore popular opinion after it had given them the answer they didn't want, in 1963 the Swedish Parliament approved the Prime Minister's proposal of right-hand drive traffic beginning in 1967, as the number of cars on the road tripled from 500,000 to 1.5 million, and the problem was only expected to get worse with more people driving. A commission was established to oversee the change and began to implement a 4-year education programme. The campaign included displaying the Dagen H logo on various commemorative items including milk cartons and underwear. Swedish television held a contest for songs promoting the change, and the winning entry that became a popular hit was a song called Keep to the Right Svensson. Surprisingly, there was actually a bit of road in Sweden where people already drove on the right. The road between Kvelia and Tunsjö in Norway had been drawn incorrectly, and a bit of it went over the border into Sweden. Although this was now a Swedish road, to avoid having to swap the sides of the road twice for this short section of road, it was agreed to keep drivers on the right-hand side. As Dagen H neared, every intersection was equipped with an extra set of poles and traffic signals wrapped in black plastic. Workers roamed the streets early in the morning removing the plastic. Existing road lines were yellow, so before the changeover, white lines were painted, then covered with black tape. Approximately 350,000 signs had to be removed or replaced, 20,000 of them in Stockholm alone. Some signs were mirrored, such as the roadwork sign and the sign warning of moose crossings, as it was felt that the moose were more likely to come from the right-hand side of the road. Black hexagonal signs with the letter H were placed on roads to remind drivers to drive on the right. And while they were altering signs, the government took the opportunity to impose speed restrictions on certain roads. One-way streets presented unique problems, bus stops had to be constructed on the other side of the street, and intersections had to be reshaped to allow traffic to merge. It's still possible to spot motorway sections built before the changeover, as the on-ramps are shorter than usual and off-ramps longer. New cars from 1966 had headlights that were designed for driving on the right, but special stickers were applied with strict instructions that they shouldn't be removed until the switchover. On the day itself, all non-essential traffic was banned from the roads from 1 AM to 6 AM. Any vehicles on the roads during that time had to follow special rules. All vehicles had to come to a complete stop at 4:50 AM, then carefully change to the right-hand side of the road and stop again to give others time to switch sides of the road and avoid a head-on collision before being allowed to proceed at 5 AM. In the large cities of Stockholm and Malmö, the ban was longer, from 10 AM on Saturday until 3 PM on Sunday, to allow work crews to reconfigure intersections, and other towns also saw extended bans. Despite the transition being in the middle of the night, it was covered with, probably not that scintillating, live TV coverage. Over 10,000 police and military personnel monitored the process, along with over 100,000 people helping out at pedestrian crossings. The relatively smooth changeover saw a temporary reduction in the number of accidents. Experts suggested that changing to driving on the right reduced accidents while overtaking, as people already drove left-hand drive vehicles, thereby having a better view of the road ahead. People were also likely more cautious and alert driving on the other side of the road, which reduced accidents. Fatal car-to-car and car-to-pedestrian accidents dropped sharply as a result. The number of motor insurance claims went down by 40%. Of course, these initial improvements didn't last. The number of motor insurance claims returned to normal over the next 6 weeks, and by 1969 the accident rates were back to the levels seen before the change, although more cars were on the road by then. Trams in many cities were withdrawn and replaced with buses. In the run-up to the change, local authorities had been buying buses designed to be driven on the right, but some 7,500 existing buses were converted, putting doors on the other side, starting 18 months before the switchover. The cities of Gothenburg and Malmö sent their existing buses to Pakistan and Kenya, who drove on the left. The modification of buses was the largest cost of the change. Although all Swedish road traffic switched to drive on the right, metro and railways didn't change and continued to drive on the left. Fellow Nordic country Iceland changed to driving on the right the following year on a day known as H-Dagurinn. A big thank you to all my patrons for supporting me. To get early advert-free access to new videos or to appear in the credits, please consider supporting me using the Patreon link below from just $1 or 80p a month, and hit that subscribe button to get notified of new videos. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.